Check 3-4. Check 3-4.
Good morning, Madam Chairwoman.
2 weeks ago, I stopped breathing out of my nose.
Yeah.
In DC, I came up to DC.
Did-
I did yesterday. I finally went in and had blood drawn. I was like, tell me what is causing this? This drives me crazy.
My wife
I know.
showed up later in her life.
She flow days and all that.
She doesn't.
I know I need to
Her
get
biggest
a
one's like
bunch of
dust.
stuff in mind.
So, like, you know, seats constantly and just air. And like, it was like some. Huge right now.
Good morning, Madam Chairwoman.
Good morning, Commissioner Coltmeyer. Good to see you.
Holding down the fort in Kansas City office.
All right. Well, it's
1 minute.
I was worried since we used my laptop that you were going to have trouble getting on, but doesn't seem like that.
You didn't leave it for me.
Oh, no. I thought you'd use the conference room in our fancy new owl.
I was asked if I wanted to go in there, and I thought about it, but I said, nah, we'll just come here.
all right. It is 10:15 a.m. All commissioners are present, so we'll begin the agenda meeting for today, Wednesday, March 6th. I would ask those who are participating on the call to please mute your phone unless you need to speak. Today, there are 4 tariffs and new orders, 1 case discussion, 1 other discussion, and 1 tariff tracking. Before we get started, though, we do have a series of new employees here joining us in the agenda room today. So to introduce those new team members to us, I'm going to turn it over to Judge DePel.
Good morning.
Right.
I'm happy to bring Carolyn Walker and Riley Fuel to the agenda to meet you all. These are our new regulatory law judges. You'll be familiar with Carolyn's face. She's actually been working in external litigation for several months, and we're going to share her half-time. So she's going to be half-time judge, half-time litigator. And Riley just started a few weeks ago, and we're hoping to get him up and going quickly. And we're very happy to be fully staffed in the adjudication department. So
We're happy to.
Yeah, welcome.
I'll let
And then Jim Bush.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 2 new employees in our water and sewer department. We have Mike Abbott and Mike Irwin. They both come from the Department of Natural Resources. It also fills out our water and sewer department. So we're very happy to have them around. And just a little background, Mike is a former Navy guy and a former Army guy. So you don't see a lot of people go from Navy to the Army. So that's kind of interesting. And Mother Mike is a former journalist. So, and he also, if you want to know about cicadas, Mike knows about cicadas. And we're going to get 1 billion of them this year.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a trillion. So we're going to be a lot of cicadas around this year. So, but we're very happy to have the mics and looking forward to the expertise. And in fact, we're taking Mike from water for work on some gas stuff for a small little bit, just to help us out with his expertise on rules. So
Great, thank you. Welcome to Carolyn, Riley, and the mics.
Yeah, I was going
Mike
to
and
say,
Mike.
I appreciate, Jim, I appreciate 2 people named Mike. So when I see them in the hall, I don't have to remember which one was who. I just go Mike.
the commissioners go back to
Or Mike Navy or Mike Journalist.
when I first started water sewer, there were 3 gyms.
3
So
yeah.
that was just say Jim and somebody would come running. So we're trying to bring that back. We need 1 more Mike to fill out the team. So.
Welcome.
All right, before we get into it today, we first need to approve the minutes from the previous agenda. Those minutes have been provided in advance. Commissioners, are there any changes or modifications to those minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting those minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? A vote of 5-0, those minutes are approved. First tariff and new order today is in file number GE-2023-0112 in the matter of Spire, Missouri for a permanent waiver from the requirement to use a device for overpressure protection for certain Spire East facilities. Spire opened this case in September 2023 to request a permanent waiver for certain facilities in St. Louis from the Commission's requirements that require adequate overpressure protection to be provided at all natural gas district regulator stations regardless of installation date. Spire requested this waiver to allow it to complete replacement of portions of its system that will eliminate the need for associated regulator stations that do not presently have adequate overpressure protection devices. However, such waivers will only be granted upon a showing that they will not compromise gas safety. The Commission's gas safety staff completed a review of Spire's request and found that their request would compromise gas safety and should be denied. In denying Spire's request, staff recommended the Commission require Spire to take additional actions to ensure uncompromised gas safety during the changeout of its equipment. Staff and Spire have since worked together for months analyzing how best to safely complete the upgrades to Spire's system. On February 20th of this year, Spire and staff filed a full and unanimous stipulation and agreement, setting out a plan to bring Spire into compliance with the Commission's requirements to provide adequate overpressure protection. No party opposed the stipulation and agreement. With that, I recommend approval of the stipulation and agreement set out in this order, version number 1. Commissioner Roop.
I am in support.
Commissioner Coleman.
I support the order.
Commissioner Holzman.
I would support the order.
And Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
Also in support.
All those in favor of approving this order, please say aye.
Aye.
Hey,
All those opposed? By a vote of 5-0, that order is approved. The second file today is in EO-2023-0136 in the matter of Ameren, Missouri's fourth filing to implement regulatory changes in furtherance of energy efficiency as allowed by MEA. On January 25th of this year, Ameren, Missouri filed a motion for protective order pursuant to Commission rules. Ameren stated in its motion there is information in this case that should not be available to employees of non-state agencies not covered by confidentiality requirements and asked the Commission to grant a protective order to allow Ameren to designate certain material as highly confidential. No party has filed a response or objected to Ameren's motion, so the order before us grants Ameren, Missouri's motion. With that, I recommend we approve the order, version number 1. Commissioner Roop.
I am in support.
Commissioner Coleman.
I'm in support.
Commissioner Holzman.
I would support.
And Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
also in support.
All those in favor of approving this order, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? By a vote of 5-0, that order is approved. The third file up today deals with 2 cases and file numbers WO-2024-0195 and SO-2024-0196 in the matter of the petition of Missouri American Water for approval to change a water and sewer infrastructure rate adjustment. On March 21st of this year, Missouri American filed a petition to change its water and sewer infrastructure rate adjustments, or WSIRAs. Missouri American also asked the Commission to approve its tariff sheets to implement the WSIRAs. The tariff sheet bears an effective date of March 31st of this year. Also, on March 1st, Missouri American filed a motion requesting the Commission consolidate these 2 cases. Missouri American states the proposed water rate schedule will produce annual revenues of $19,254,857, or an increase of 4.6%. Missouri American also states the proposed sewer rate schedule will produce annual sewer revenues of $272,062, or an increase of 1.4%. The order before us today directs notice of Missouri American's petition, sets deadlines for certain filings, suspends Missouri American's tariffs until August 28th, and grants Missouri American's request to consolidate the cases. With that, I recommend we approve the order, version number 1. Commissioner Roop.
I am in support.
Commissioner Coleman.
I'm in support.
Commissioner
I
Holzman.
support the order.
And Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
I'm in support.
All those in favor of approving this order, please say aye.
Aye.
Hey,
Those opposed? By a vote of 5-0, that order is approved. Final tariff and order today is in file number EF-2024-0192 in the matter of the application of Evergy Missouri Metro for authority to issue debt securities. On February 15th of this year, Evergy Metro filed an application requesting authority to issue debt securities in the form of general mortgage bonds under Evergy Metro's General Mortgage Indenture and Deed of Trust dated December 1st, 1986, up to $300 million with a fixed or variable rate not to exceed 6.5%. Evergy states in its application that this issuance will be used to repay outstanding short-term indebtedness or finance capital improvements. Also in its application, Evergy requested expedited treatment of its financing application and requested the commission issue an order approving their application effective March 15th. On February 28th, staff filed a recommendation that the commission approve Evergy Metro's application subject to certain conditions, and no other party made a filing. After review of Evergy Metro's application and staff's recommendation, the commission concludes that granting Evergy Metro's request accords with the purposes and that the issue of the debt securities proposed in the application is or will be reasonably required for those purposes. Therefore, the order before us approves Evergy Metro's application subject to staff's conditions and grants Evergy Metro's request for expedited treatment. With that, I recommend we approve the order version number 1. Commissioner Root,
I support the order.
Commissioner Coleman,
I'm in support of the order.
Commissioner Holzman,
I support the order.
and Commissioner Cole.
Also in support.
All those in favor of approving this order, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? By a vote of 5-0, that order is approved. Next item on the agenda today is case discussion. There was a pre-hearing memo prepared by Judge Clark in file number WC-2022-0295, the staff of the commission versus I-70 Mobile City Park. Judge.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. The pre-hearing memo circulated in the staff complaint case provides the Commission with a procedural background as well as an overview of the 7 issues for the Commission's determination in this case. All 7 issues essentially center around whether or not the respondent in this case is subject to the Commission's jurisdiction. This case is scheduled to go to hearing next week on the 13th and 14th. However, I have been informed that the parties are actively engaged in a stipulation and agreement resolving this case. However, as of this time, that stipulation has not been filed with the Commission. I'm available to answer any questions.
As Commissioner Rupa said before at a different time, we'll hope for a Christmas miracle. So
Yeah. Thank you very much.
thank you, Judge Clark. Other discussion, there is a sunshine request for release of information regarding Adams Herd. Judge DePel, will you please explain this request?
Thank you, Chair Hahn. This is a sunshine request that we received from a reporter. It's a very extensive request having to do with the natural gas market in Texas and how that affected things in Missouri during Winter Storm Uri. And this was for about a 2-year time period and requested an extensive list of items. And so we have been giving monthly reports and release of records that are open public records to the requester, including some that have some redacted information. The other records before you, or what is before you, is now that we've finished searching and reviewing and categorizing those documents, we have a certain number that are protected from disclosure by law, privileged, or orders, or others that are protected pursuant to 610.20 or 21, section 21. And those records we don't typically release. What's before you today, we have a number of records that are protected under section 386-480 that restricts the commission from or any person from releasing public information that's, or information that was provided to the commission. A lot of that is information from emails logged under EFIS as quick hits, submitted as discovery requests, DRs, or as data requests, and other types of information, specific customer information, public utility information, pricing information, so forth and so on. The recommendation today is not to release those documents that are protected under 386-480. And I would ask you for a vote to follow that recommendation.
So the vote before us is to not release the protected information.
Not to release that information.
All right. For the recommendation from the judge, are there any questions or discussion?
It's a pretty extensive request. Do we know how much this has cost the state and how many hours it's required to put together?
We do not. And this has been sort of a learning procedure. We typically try not to charge people for our time to do research and so forth. We also typically don't have a request that's quite this extensive. So when we began this process, we did not set out what the charges would be. So we have not charged this person for the time. It has been an enormous amount of time for several different staff people, and we have taken this as an educational opportunity to determine going forward that we would not endeavor on such a large project without trying to determine how much would be involved and what the cost would be.
Sounds like you're doing a lot of homework for a reporter.
Well, they, they're requesting a lot of items. Unfortunately, it's for the commission to do its job. A lot of those items are privileged or otherwise protected, or information that the companies have given us.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Commissioner Coleman?
Do we, typically, are we able to charge if we desire, and have we in the past?
we are able to charge a reasonable amount for copies. And we also are able to charge a reasonable amount for research time. We're not allowed to charge like the cost of attorney time to review things. We can charge a reasonable labor charge for the research. Typically, under the Missouri statutes and the case law, you need to give a reasonable estimate up front of those charges. And so that's the reason we haven't gone back to, in this instance, to bill and
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of not releasing the information as recommended by Judge DePel, please say aye.
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 Those opposed?
Madam Chairwoman,
Vote 5-0, yes.
go ahead and call your vote.
Vote of 5-0, that motion is approved. Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
Yes, thank you. When I was the chair of the Accounts and Administration in the House, we had a rather large request from a reporter in Kansas City, and it turned into thousands of hours of research to gather this. So normal sunshine request, I don't have a problem with, but when it turns into major dollars, I think we need to be charging for this in the future.
Other discussion? Last item for today, actually, Judge DePel, please. On tariff tracking and tariff file JG 2024-0115, Liberty Utilities Corporation. Judge DePaul, it's my understanding that this is a tariff case, so not an actual case assigned, modifying Liberty Utilities gas tariff. Seems like they put the I in the wrong spot for a lack of better term, so this is just a correction. Is there any further comment from your perspective on that?
Yeah, these do not need any kind of a vote. They're put on agenda as merely a notice that you all have seen it. The last one of these tariffs came across last August, so they are very few and far between. So, and this one is merely a typo kind of error correction. So.
Any commissioners have concerns?
What was this called? Was there a phrase?
There was,
No go.
Something crunk,
Yeah.
or
yeah, it came up. Yeah, we're like,
No.
No proton.
no,
oh, that's right. That's right.
yeah.
I prefer it in Greek.
All right, moving on, last item for today is scheduling. Next week, Tuesday, March 12th, there's a discovery conference in case GR-2022-0136 in the matter of Spire, Missouri. PGA tariff filing in room 305 beginning at 10 a.m. with Judge Sire, whose birthday it is, but I don't see him, so happy birthday to Judge Sire. Wednesday, March 13th and Thursday, March 14th, there is the evidentiary hearing previously discussed today in case WC-2022-0295, the staff of the commission versus I-70 Mobile City Park in room 310 beginning at 9 a.m. with Judge Clark. On Wednesday, March 13th, also there is agenda at 12 noon. On Thursday, March 21st, there is agenda at 10:15. Also on Wednesday, March 27th, there is agenda at 10:15. The following month, Tuesday, April 2nd, there is an on the record presentation in case EW-2023-0199 and the matter of the workshop for customer education and outreach regarding the introduction of default TOU rates by Evergy Metro and Evergy Missouri West in room 310 at 10 a.m. with Judge DePaul. Also the same week, Wednesday, April 3rd through Thursday, April 4th, there is an evidentiary hearing in case ET-2024-0182 in the matter of Evergy Missouri Metro and Evergy Missouri West. An Evergy Missouri West solar subscription rider, tariff filings in room 310 at 9 a.m. with Judge DePaul. And then on Wednesday, April 3rd, we have agenda at 10:15 a.m. and Wednesday, April 10th, agenda at 10:15 a.m. Commissioners, are there any modifications or requests to the schedule? Seeing none. No further business coming before the commission. We are adjourned.
Madam Chair?
Thank you, Madam Chair.